Okay, so today is the second day of Lamrim class. So studying of Lamrim or study of Dharma is very important. Everybody keep in your mind the Buddha Shakyamuni, all the Buddhas, particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, and also Adisha, who composed the Lamrim, also Lama Tsongkhapa. All the gurus and Buddhas look like experienced doctor. So we look like a sick person. The Lamrim, the Buddha teachings look like medicine. We always recognize ourselves. We are very serious ill person. All the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, particularly Adisha, Tsongkhapas are the doctor. Then the teachings of the Buddha Shakyamuni, teaching of Indian master, Chinese master, Tibetan master, all teaching written by masters look like medicines. Usually when we do chanting and recitation, it look like, we really calling, asking to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and gurus. We are asking to them, I'm sick, I'm seriously ill, I have so many sufferings and problems. But you are just calling or just recitation, chanting to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It looks like when you are sick, you are just always making phone call to the doctor. But you never try to get the instruction. Even though you got the instruction, you never try to buy medicine. Even though you got instruction, you bought the medicine, but you never try to eat the medicine. So we look like exactly always doing a lot of chanting, recitation. We just making phone call to the doctor. We never try to get instruction. Even though we got the instruction, we never try to buy medicine. We bought the medicine. We never try to eat the medicines. So in everybody, is very serious about studying Lamrim. This means we are serious about getting instruction about how to cure the negative sickness of negative emotions. Then practicing Lamrim is look like taking medicines. Everybody very serious to be serious about studying Lamrim as well as practicing Lamrim. If you be very serious about practicing Lamrim, then within 1 year you can see you have a lot of good changes. If you don't, even though you attend the Lamrim class, you don't practice the Lamrim, you don't practice the Dharma, then within 1 year you cannot see any good changes. Maybe you can see a little bit bad changes. So everybody, try to be serious about studying Lamrim, serious about practice of Lamrim, try to be, good person, better person, happier person. And I mentioned in the first class, always be study partner. So we are study partner. We all studying Lamrim. You should not think I'm a master and guru. You can think I'm a study partner. Whatever I will explain, whatever I give you the instructions I explain according to Buddha teaching, according to Indian masters, according to Lamrim. I never ever going to give you any misinstruction, wrong instruction, wrong kind of information about how to practice Lamrim, how to practice Buddha Dharma. So, beginning of the Lamrim class, I told you I will explain little bit about psychology, Buddhist psychology. I think somebody has a soft copy, somebody has a the hard copy. Hard copy. At the beginning of the psychology, there's a few quotation. The first quotation and second is come from Dharmapada. Dharmapada. Maybe he needs a chair. Yeah, I think he needs a chair. Dharmapada, taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, they translate into, Sri Lankan language, Thai language, not in Tibetan language until 1940s. The Dharmapada was translated by Tibetan master Gintin Chumbel, I think 1940s. The first quotation you can see, mind is the chief and possess them all. If with impure mind one acts or speaks, misery follows. Like a cart follows the ox. So the mind is, cheap, means whatever we do, whatever we think, always we think and do follow up the mind. If we act, if we speak with the impure mind, the misery always follow after the negative actions. The negative actions follow the impure mind. Second is opposite. The mind is the chief and possesses them all. If with pure mind one acts or speaks, happiness follows, like a shadow that never leaves. Right? So, as a Buddhist, we always try to have pure mind, act and speak with a pure mind. If we are able to act and speak with a pure mind, the action is always wholesome. If the action is wholesome, it's good for you, good for the others. The mind and actions look like shadow. Wherever we go, the shadow is always with us. All the actions always follow after the mind. Without mind, you cannot have any actions. So, all the Buddha teaching, introduce our how to avoid, how to eliminate the impure mind, how to develop, how to increase the pure mind. So, in Buddhism practice, it's just two. Reduce the impure mind, generate or develop the pure mind. Then why mind is so important? Next, the Vasubandhu Abhidharma Kosha, the diversity of world arose from karma, which in turn is the intention and actions. Intention is the mental karma. That means the actions always follow the mind. Action, we have two actions, mental action and physical actions. So when we talk about karma, you should think there's two types of karma, mental and physical. Physical has two, the body action and verbal actions. That means everything gives rise by physical and verbal actions. Next, the last time I explained the definition of mind. So look at it. Now you must know it is so important to recognize the mind, try to have a pure mind, try to eliminate the impure mind. So in order to do them, first we must know, we must recognize what does mean mind. Right? Mind. So we talk about Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Buddha, can be achieved based on eliminating the negative minds. All the good qualities of the Buddhas we can achieve based on mind. The mind is so important. Mind is cheap. So far we have been talking about mind. Have a good mind, pure mind. But we don't understand actually the meaning of mind. The definition of mind or consciousness. So we can name mind or we can name consciousness. Is that which is clear and knowing. Clear and knowing. The mind, the nature of the mind is very clear, then the function of mind is knowing. The nature of mind is clear, the function of mind is knowing. So when we say the mind is clear, it reject our body, our speech are not mind, it is not clear. He's not talking about clear, is clean, is clear, the nature is very clear. Look like crystal ball, crystal. The knowing is the function. So this is the kind of definition of mind. Next one, the mind, Sanskrit is called chitta. Chitta, that's why Buddhi chitta. Chit means mind. And Tibetan we call sem. We can divide. It can be divided in many different ways. Right now, the mind can be divided into the six, divisions, six different ways. Six different ways, mind. So mind is not just one. We have so many different types of minds. The sevenfold division of mind. Number one, direct, valid, perceiver. That means, when you perceive something, you can perceive directly. Not just perceive directly is, valid. So this means, one. The second is, number two is inferential cognizer. So the inferential cognizer means you can perceive, the object, but you cannot perceive the object directly. For example, right now when you look at the Buddha statue, you can see the Buddha statue directly. If you try to, cognize your object in your house, in your room, still you can cognize, you can, perceive, but you cannot perceive directly. That's means number two. Number three, subsequent cognizer. Subsequent cognizer. That means is cognized, repeatedly. First moment, second moment, third moment, repeatedly. So first time doesn't mean first time in your life. For example, you close your eyes, you open your eyes, you can look at the Buddha. The first moment is, the valid perceiver. The second moment is changed as a subsequent cognizer. Again, you close your eyes, open your eyes, you can see the Buddha again. The first moment is the valid, direct valid perceiver, not subsequent. The second one, subsequent, because second moment is perceive the object repeatedly the same way. Right? Then, number four, correctly assuming consciousness. That means, for example, you just think about impermanence. When you think about impermanence, you can understand the gross impermanence. For example, we were born, then we live for another, 20, 30, 40, 60, 100 years. Finally, we know we're going to die. it is we call gross impermanence. Or you can see something, summer, spring everything is gross, and summer is, remains. Then autumn, everything is going to dry, going to decay. This is the very gross impermanence. The second we call subtle impermanence. In order to know, in order to understand the subtle, impermanence, you need to use, different reasoning, different logics. Based on reasoning and the logics, then you can understand slowly subtle impermanence. That means changing momentarily. It's changing. They cannot stop. Since we born, we are changing momentarily. Right now, someone come from your workplace, someone come from your home or office. Between here to there to here, is completely changed. It's changing momentarily. It's so fast, so quickly changing. So we don't understand. We cannot recognize. So due to reasoning and logic, so you keep thinking about subtle impermanence. Finally, you look like you fully understood the impermanence. This means correctly assuming. This means you exactly use correct logic, correct reasoning. Then you look like you understand the subtle impermanence, but it's still not the cognizer. It just make an assumption based on reasoning and logics. Then number 5, non-discerning direct perception. Right? Perception. Nangla mangeba. This means there's another types of mind we have. It's happened many times for us. You are fully concentrated. You fully, absorb on something. For example, when you're listening, beautiful music, you fully absorb that music. Somebody asks something, you hear something, somebody says something, but you don't understand what the person said to you. That means that moment we have one consciousness can hear, but we don't, really understand what the person said. This is nangla mangeba. This means look at non-discerning, direct perception. Then number 5 is doubting. We know doubting. Everybody has have a lot of doubts. So now we doubting. The number 6 is a deceptive wrongs consciousness. Now we put into order. First we have a doubt about subtle impermanence, doubt about emptiness. Based on the doubt, we have a lot of questioning, we have a lot of doubting. Then we ask a lot of questions. We do a lot of research or study. Finally, it can be going to wrong perception. It going to be the right perception. It depends on how you use the logics and reasoning for doubt. When you have a doubt, then slowly rely on the right and the correct reasoning logic. Then you can have the correctly assuming consciousness. Then finally the correctly assuming consciousness transform as a valid inferential cognizer. Then many months, many years, you just keep meditate on subtle impermanence. Finally, the inferential cognizer transform, changed as a direct valid perceiver. That means doubting, then correctly assuming, then inferential cognizer, finally direct valid perceiver. So next time, when we have a class, everybody must remember the number 1 to 6. And also you must have a, certain understanding about, each of the meaning. Within the direct valid perceivers, we can divide into 4, right? Direct mean you can perceive, you can see the object directly by your 5 senses or by your 6 mind. As a number 1, sense direct perceiver, which is the, we have 5 senses. Number 2, the mental direct perceiver. Number 3, self-cognizer, direct perceiver. Number 4, yogi direct perceiver. So number 1, everybody recognize very understand very easily. We have 5 senses: eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and body. There's depend on the 5 organs. That means there are 5 senses. The 5 senses always perceive the object directly, very directly, right? When you hear the sound, you can hear the sound directly. You don't need to use reasoning and logics. You should see directly, direct contact with the object. Number 2, the mental direct perceiver. So the mental direct perceiver is a bit difficult to understand. So after we see, for example, it's very fast. When you see the object, you can see second minute there's another consciousness. It's a very short moment. Very short moment. They call mental direct perceiver. When the eyes consciousness perceive the object directly, at the same time, second moment there's another mental mind which is perceive the object directly. But it lasts a very short moment. Number 3, cognized direct perceiver. So this can be, depend on the, 4 philosophical schools. Somebody accept, somebody, some school accept, some schools reject. Cognized direct perceiver. The idea about, the cognized, direct perceivers. The idea, for example, somebody, there's a 2 person have an argument about, something is there or not. Somebody say, yes, the object is there because we can see, right? I can see, everybody can see. This is the reason everybody can see, therefore the object is there. Seen by which? Seeing by eyes consciousness, air consciousness, nose, whatever, seeing by one of the mind, right? Is prove us the object is there because the object is perceived by particular mind. Then number 2, how we can sure, how you can be sure the mind is there. Then they say behind the mind there's another mind which is can perceive the mind as well as the perceive itself. It has a double function. One, they can perceive the other mind. Second, it perceive itself. They call self-cognizer, cognized consciousness. The yogi, direct perceiver. The yogi referred to here, the arhat, arya. So, I think everybody must know there are 5 paths. So samsaric to Buddhahood. So we have to go through 5 paths, 5 path or 5 bhumi. First path, accumulation path. Second is preparation path. Third is the seeing path. The fourth is meditation path. The fifth is the no more learning path. So in order to achieve Buddhahood, so we have to go through the 5 paths. In order to achieve Arhatship, just Arhato state, so we have to go through the 5 paths. The first and second paths, we cannot perceive the emptiness or impermanence directly. When you reach to the seeing path, then you can see impermanence, emptiness directly. That we call yogic direct perceiver. So as a homework, everybody must try to remember the sevenfold division of mind, 7, as well as 4 direct valid perceiver. Then next is explain 3 important things. Absorbed object, uncommon, empowering, immediately preceding conditions. Okay, number 1, absorbed object condition. Number 2, uncommon, empowering condition. Number 3 is the immediately preceding conditions. All mind must have 3 conditions. So you must, understand what are they. Then next we can go through number 2, mental direct perceiver. Okay, now we start the Lamrim. I ask you to do some homework. I think everybody have done. So before we start the new lesson, I will shortly review what we learned in the last class last week. At the beginning, before returning this text, Lama Tsongkhapa about homage to the Guru, Manju, Gokha or Gosha, Guru, right? Why Lama Tsongkhapa use Guru? Because Lama Tsongkhapa received many instruction, many teaching from Manjushri. That's why he used the Guru. The second sentence is mainly praise to Buddha Shakyamuni based on 3 qualities of the body, speech and mind. Then paragraph 2 is praise to Mitriya Buddha and Manju Gosha or Manjushri. Because Mitriya Buddha and Manjushris are so important for the lineage of the Buddha teaching. Then third, stanza is mainly praise to Nagarjuna and Asanga. Nagarjuna and Asanga. Nagarjuna and Asanga are very important, master to, continually, carry the instruction of Buddhism until now. Then next one, particularly Adisha. Okay, so Adisha was born in India. Right now we can call West Bengal. Bangladesh. He was born in a king family, so he became a monk. Then he became very important abbot in Bodh Gaya monasteries. Then, even though he was very learned, very scholar, but still he was looking, the complete instruction about bodhicitta. Then he went to, now we can call Indonesia, Sumatra. Merely want to meet Lama Selingpa or Selendra, Lama Selingpa. That's why Adisha is very important, because he collect all the lineage and put together into one text. So that's why Lama Selingpa. The next one, particularly his own gurus. I bow with the respect to the teachers. There is here very important few things you must know. Who with the deeds of skill in means, moved by loving concern. Right, so important. That's me talk about the quality of the teacher. That means as a teacher, as a guru must have three qualities. One, the mental quality, which is very compassionate, very loving. Not only that master and teacher must be very skillful how to explain, how to teach the Buddha Dharma. So that's why according to Mahayana tradition, look at the beginning of taking refuge, we say, I take refuge into Guru. Namo Guru Be, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. First we pay homage to Gurus. Second, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Why? It doesn't mean Guru is, more holy than the Buddha. No. For us, Guru is very important this moment. Guru is more important than the Buddha at the moment, because without Guru, we don't understand the Buddha teaching. We cannot get any, right teaching, right instruction of Buddha Dharma. So the Guru is very important. So in order to practice, Dharma, we must have a Guru. We must rely on the Guru who has a, who are very compassionate, very loving, very, sense of caring. Not only they who must have a complete knowledge about Buddha Dharma, not only have a knowledge, the Guru, the teacher, the master must know how to explain. That means, must have a complete knowledge of Buddha Dharma, must know how to explain when, how much. How, when, how much. Time, how, when, how much. The Guru is look like exact doctor. The doctor has so many, knowledge about medicine. Even though his storeroom has so many medicine, he cannot give all medicine to one person. He must know which medicine give which patients. He must know how much. He or she must know when, how much, which medicine. That's why Guru be Guru is not easy. You should not think, when you see, any sifu, any monks, any rinpoche, you should not think those can be your Guru. Next one, another very important here, is mainly, for us. Nowadays, those making effort at yoga have studied few of classical texts. Now we are trying to practice of the Dharma, but we study very little. We know very little about Buddha Dharma, but we try to practice Dharma. Which is good, we try, but we study with the very little knowledge. We cannot practice the complete Buddha Dharma. This is one. Second, there's another group, who have studied much are not skilled in the key point of practice. Someone don't study much, still want to practice Dharma, or he or she cannot. We need, a lot of study. Someone study a lot of, but they don't know how to put all the study into practice. So most of us, we attend many teachings. We study for many years. We read lot of books. But one day somebody asks, you must practice Dharma. We don't know how to begin, how to practice, how much. Right? Look at, are not skilled in the key point of practice. That means we must study, precisely, widely, deeply. Also, we must know how to put into practice. There are another type of person or group. They tend to view the scriptures through the eyes of, partisanship. Even though someone practice, you study for many years, study for many texts, teachings, scriptures, but they become, partisanship. They become, partial. Now you can see, even though in Tibetan society we have so many Rinpoche, Master, Guru, Geshe, monks, and they study very well. Study for so many years, still become, very partial. Say, I'm Tibetan Buddhist. I respect Tibetan Buddhism. I don't respect, other traditions. They become very partial. We here, we don't have more than 20 or 30 people. Within the 30 people, somebody say, oh, my guru is Dalai Lama. I don't like other Rinpoche. I don't like other guru. I follow Tibetan Buddhism. I don't like Chinese Buddhism. I follow Chinese Buddhism. I don't like Tibetan Buddhism. I follow Thai, Thai Buddhism. I don't like Tibetan Buddhism. That's why we become, very partial. So we should not be like that. We practice many years, very precisely, vastly, deeply. We must know how to put to practice. That should not be, partial. We practice all Buddha Dharma. We respect all, Buddhist traditions. Then now look at unable to use the reason to disseminate meaning of the scripture. So even though as a Buddhist, we're not able to use the reasoning and the logic. How do we understand in the subtle meaning of Buddha teaching? The next one, that's reason, Tsongkhapa very happy to compose the Lamrim. That's why I was inspired to explain this part of the great, Trailblazer. This means Nagarjuna and Asangas were the, trailblazer, because it's Tibetan language, we call, Solche. Trails mean there already has a path, there already has a route, but, there already the traditions are there. Nagarjuna and Asanga, expand, the road of the Buddha teaching, the tales of the Buddha teaching. That's what we, trailblazer. Next is a homework. Oh, next one here important. I forget to explain here. So he say, Lama Tsongkhapa say, I'm very happy to compose this Lamrim text. Now, who going to benefit this Lamrim? Yes, he has a great motivation to write this text. Who going to benefit? It going to benefit everybody's? No. Then he said, look at this last sentence. All those fortunate one who are unobscured by the darkness of, partisanship. This means, the person who are very fortunate, who doesn't have any kind of, partisanship. This teaching can be benefit. If you think, I'm Mahayan practitioner, I no need to practice the Hinayana. That means this Lamrim cannot be benefit for that person. Second, the person is very happy to practice all Buddhist tradition. But here again, who have the mental capacity to differentiate good and bad? If the person must have a good, mental capacity to differentiate good and bad, but they're very happy to practice all Buddhist tradition, but they don't have the capacity to differentiate between good and bad, then this Lamrim cannot be benefit to the person. The person must have a, respect all Buddhist tradition. The person must have a mental capacity to differentiate good and bad. Not only that, then next one, who wish to make meaningful this good life of leisure should listen with one pointed attention. That means so important. It's telling us you should not be, partition. We respect all Buddhist tradition. We respect Sutrayana, Vajrayana, Hinayana. We respect all of them. We practice all of them. Not only practice, you must have a good mental capacity to differentiate good and bad. You must recognize the good, always try to practice. You must recognize the bad, always try to eliminate. Not only that, you must think, I wish to make meaningful this goal life, good life of leisure. Should listen with one pointed attention, right? This is so important. You should not waste, our good life of leisure. We try to get something meaningful. Then, those kinds of person can benefit this Lamrim. Those mean everybody, doesn't matter where you are born, you are rich and poor, doesn't matter. We should think, I will practice complete Buddha Dharma. That means, we must practice the Hinayana practices, which is the very foundation. Second, top of that, we should think, I want to practice the, Prajana Paramita. Top of that, you should think, I will practice the Vajrayana. I will practice the complete Buddha teaching. I should not differentiate between, this is good, this is bad. Second, you should think, I must try to understand which is good, which is bad. Also think, I try to get meaningful thing in my life. If you have this kind of motivation, then you can get, good beneficial from the Lamrim. Then, how we can listen to the Lamrim? Next one, look at, should listen with one pointed attention. Just, should listen with one pointed attention. That means whatever you listen the teaching, whatever you practice the teaching, you have just one intention, one motivation, which is want to be Buddha. I want to be Buddha. Doesn't matter how long, doesn't matter how difficult it is. I want to be Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, I will listen Lamrim. I will practice Dharma. I will listen in Buddha Dharma. That's why we really must have a pure motivation. If you have pure motivation, all action can be wholesome. Since you left from your office or home till here, you are have been accumulating positive karma because you have a pure motivation. Even though some of you come here to, just go to TBC, just see, how is the Geshe Yonten look like. Yes, you can come here to see me, but I have nothing special, right? Or somebody come to see here, what's the Tibetan monks look like? It's okay, but most important, you should think, I want to go to TBC to Saturday Lamrim, to practice Lamrim, to be Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. All sentient beings. Must say all sentient beings. Okay, next. So what is the, unique qualities of the Lamrim? This Lamrim is talk about 4, right? What are the 4? Number 1, Without looking your Lamrim, can you tell me? Anybody? Try from here. Don't look at Lamrim. Or don't look at the iPad. Okay, anyway.
Enables one to understand the teaching from Buddha.
Number one.
May not be in sequence.
I said number one.
Enables one to understand the teaching.
No. Number one, contain the key point of all of the conquered scriptures. Okay, number one. This Lamrim, written by Tsongkhapa, Lamrim written by Adisha, is so important. Is contain the key points of all the conquered scriptures, right? That means Lamrim contain all the meaning of the Buddha teaching. For example, when you study, Sahasrara is content, but not content as Lamrim, right? Is never in the Sahasrara can be content only Sutrayana path, not the Vajrayana path. But you can say, can be both. So, must think, study Lamrim is so important because it contain the key points of all of the conquered scripture. Number two, what is the number two?
The pathways for
Asanga, right? That means this Lamrim is so important because it explains the true great treasure, which is Nagarjuna and Asanga. Number three,
system for living beings, progressing consciousness.
what does mean? Huh? Yeah. That means, this Lamrim is so important because the system of supreme being, supreme means the great, we have three beings, right? Small being, medium being, supreme or great beings. So this explains the being, progress to the state omniscience. Is explain how we can achieve omniscience, how we can achieve Buddhahood. Number four, three types of person. That's mean look at this so important. When you study Lamrim, you can practice the small being path. You can practice the middle being path. You can practice the great being path. So this was he's talking about the qualities, the uniqueness of the Lamrim, right? So the School of Glories. Now next, so there are when we study when we study teaching, when we receive teachings, there are two traditions. What are the two traditions? Nalanda traditions. Yeah, Vikram Shila or Bigamala Shila can be two pronunciation. That means in India, around I think 3rd or 4th century, the Nalanda was very popular, very important learning center. The Nalanda was used to be a learning center for as well as Indian, Tibetan, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, all over. Even though now we can call Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, everybody came to Nalanda to study Buddhism, mainly based on logic and reasoning. So Nalanda tradition and Vikarmashila or Bikamalashila. So according to Nalanda tradition, how they can receive the teaching through theory purity. Okay, look at according to Nalanda tradition. For example, let's say we want to receive teaching from someone, then they test. They do some kind of research. What are the three purity? Your purity of speech, purity of the master, speech of the master, purity of the mind of disciple, then purity of teaching, right? Then explain. That means three purity. According to Nalanda tradition, when they're going to receive a teaching from someone, first they check the purity of the master, the purity of speech of the master. Do you know what does mean? Purity of master, of speech of the master. How we can check the master speak pure or impure? Cannot, right? It's actually the meaning here. Look at the purity of speech of the master. So it is very important. For example, some master explain very nice way, precisely, very deeper level to Buddha Dharma. Of course, when you attend teaching, the master say you must do this, you must not do that. Make sure the teacher is doing as he or she said, right? Right. Even though I'm a Tibetan monk, usually I'm not vegetarian. If I say you must eat, vegetarian is good, eating meat is very bad, I cannot say because I'm taking meat. I'm saying, eating meat is very bad. Very bad. You must check my, speech is pure or not. That means what master says, the master must act. That means, purity of speech of the master. The second, should not only check the purity of master's speech. Second,
Purity of the mind.
disciple. It's very interesting, we always pointed to, the Sifu how, that master good, that master bad. You never think, I am bad, I am good. Have you ever think? You check, also you do, what you call, investigation to the teacher, master. Also you must do investigation about yourself. Then I can say it's very fair. You should not only pen for me, Geshe Lobsang Yonten is good, Geshe Lobsang Yonten is bad. You all should think I am good or bad. The purity of mind of the disciple, the mind, purity of mind. That means whenever you attend teaching, first you check your motivation. Okay, your motivation. Why you are attending the teaching? So what is your achievement? Then you really know, yes, I'm going to attend the teaching because not, the master is famous, the teacher is very famous. No, I'm going to attend the teaching to learn, to get something which is very useful for my life, right? But most time, how we attend the teaching? The Rinpoche, the Guru is giving empowerment, is very powerful. We just go, right? We never check our motivation. We never check our aim. That means purity of the disciple. Then the third one, purity of the teaching that will be explained, right? Third, yes, you must know, the master speaks perfectly, rightly. Also the master practice, according to what he said. Also you have a good motivation, the right motivation to attend the teaching. But how we know that teaching is, the right teaching? So right now we have a very, even though nowadays some master teach very, strange teaching, very strange thing. How we know? That means you need to check the lineage. For example, I'm explaining the Lamrim. I received the Lamrim 2 times from His Holiness Dalai Lama. His Holiness received the teaching from Ling Rinpoche and Tichang Rinpoche. They received teaching from Khaza Dorje Chand all the way to Adisha. Adisha received the teaching from Lama Selingpa, some other master. They received the teaching all the way to Buddha Shakyamuni. We must know the teaching is coming from Buddha Shakyamuni all the way to your Guru. That means the teaching is very pure. Right? The next one, according to the Bigamala Shila, how many greatness are there? Huh? Three greatness. What are they?
Greatness of the author of the teaching. Author of the teachings.
Okay. Second,
Greatness.
are you reading your notebook? Okay. Oh yeah. Greatness of the author of the teaching. Greatness of the teaching. Then
How one should explain.
and listen to the teaching is same thing, right? Very similar. This means the greatness of the author. For example, this text written by Lama Tsongkhapa. So before we really practice this Lamrim, we must know about Tsongkhapa, how he was looked like. Was he high practitioner or not? Was he good monks or not? We must know the author of, greatness of the author. So that means before you receive the teaching, before you study the teaching, you must check who wrote this textbook, who wrote these books. The second, the greatness of the teaching, So what is the uniqueness of this teaching? Third, how should explain? That means is talking about what kind of motivation the master must have. How to explain. Then, how to listen to the teaching. Also is talking about the motivation of the disciples. Okay, it's very important at the beginning. You must check purity of the teacher, speech of the teacher. You must check the purity of the teaching. You must check the purity of disciple, three, study. Then, according to Nalendra, there are three greatness. So, Lama Tsongkhapa, mainly follow the second tradition, which is, Vikamala Shila, Vikamala Shila or, Vikram Shila. So Vikram Shila is not that far from the Nalanda University, I think 40 kilometers away. There's another university which is called Takshashila, okay, Nalanda University, Vikramarashila, Takshashila are very important learning center. Takshashila is now part of Pakistan. So still, you can see, the ruined monastery is still there. Okay, now we start the new chapter. This explanation of the stage of the path to enlightenment has the four paths. At the beginning, right? Four paths. What are they? What are they? Showing the greatness of the teachings, author, in order to establish that it is the noble origin. Okay? So important. Number two, showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect to the instruction. Number three, how to listen to explain the teaching. Number four, student with the actual instruction, right? So important. Number one, so we need to know the greatness of the teaching. Why? Look at teachings author in order to establish that is the noble origin. So this means, we must know who wrote this text, this teaching. Make sure the teaching is, come from all the way Buddha Shakyamuni. That means, the greatness of author. Now, for example, this teaching mainly, based on Adisha Lamrim. So when you, of course, everybody, study the biography of Adisha. When you read the short biography of Adisha, where he was born, how, he became, Sangha, how long he studied Dharma, how long he practiced, what kind of knowledge he has, then you can feel it, wow, he was a very great master. All his instruction, teaching, come from Buddha Shakyamuni. Greatness. The number two, showing the greatness of the teaching in order to engender respect the instruction, right? That means when you understand the teaching is so greatness, so great, then certainly you have a strong respect. Certainly you really feel, I want to practice the Lamrim, I want to practice the Dharma, right? For example, nowadays, why, many companies do a lot of advertisement, right? Advertisement, is it? Why? Promote the, products. Why they need to promote the products? They want to attract many people to buy the products, right? Production. That means when you know that teaching is very important, it has all these qualities, suddenly you feel, I want to study, I want to practice. Right? Then number 3, how to listen to explain and teaching. That means how student must listen to the teaching, how the master explain the teaching. Finally, the instruction of the Lamrim. Now we just jump all the way to page number 42. I assume everybody read very precisely about biography of Adisha, right? Jump page number 42. So this Lamrim, based on Lamrim composed by Adisha. So Adisha was very important master. He composed many texts. So what are the conditions? What were the conditions to compose that kind of teaching, compose the text? Let me talk about second paragraph. Furthermore, there are 3 ideal qualifications for author of the text that elucidate intent of the sage in this way. He talk about 3 qualifications in order to compose the text. Number 1, should have the mastered in the 5 topics of knowledge. So before the person before compose the text about Buddhism, the person must be master in 5 topics of knowledge. What are the 5 topics? Number 1, no medicine. I don't think there's actually 10 topics. That's why look at when you read this name, you can see grammar, logic, arts, medicine, Buddhist knowledge. Grammar,
logic, arts, medicine.
Those are the 5 topics, 5 knowledge. So in India, usually they name Maha, first called Pandita. Pandita means 5 mean number 5. Who are master in the 5 topics, they will call Pandita. Second, they name Maha Pandita. Maha means great, Pandit. That means the great Pandit must master in the 10 topics. 10 topics. Then the person can, compose the text. Number 2, should possess the instruction that are the key point of the practicing the meaning of the topic of Buddhist knowledge, which have been transmitted in the unbroken lineage to the excellent being from the perfect Buddhas. The person is very master in the 5 topics, but they must receive the instruction, teaching from his own master, from all the way from Buddha Shakyamuni. No broken lineage. So of course, I think Singapore has a tradition. In Tibet, where the lineage is so important. So before I give a teaching, I must receive the teaching from my gurus. That means the lineage, you must show that lineage is unbroken lineage. Unbroken lineage. Because nowadays we have some problem in Tibetan society. For example, many Tibetan nuns, they want to be full ordens. They want to be, fully bhikshuni or bhikkhuni, full ordens. So far in Tibet, we didn't have the lineage of the Bhikshuni ordens lineage. We didn't have. Then we have lot of many conference and meeting. We did lot of research. Why not the Tibetan nun can receive the full ordens, full ordens, from Sri Lanka, from Thailand, from Japan, from Singapore, from China. So we did a lot of research. So far, we cannot really have a complete kind of evidence in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has a nun, but they don't have a full ordens nun. Thai, they don't have. Now we thought, why not we try to receive the full ordain lineage from China. Also, we did a lot of research. Also, we met, even though I was included in the members, we met many Chinese master. We asked a lot of question. We asked a lot of questions. We did a lot of research. Also, we cannot find the ordens lineage is not really completely unbroken. That's why so far in Tibetan society we don't have a full ordens nuns, because we very very concerned about the lineage. So lineage is so important. The number 3 should receive the permission to compose the text in a vision of his or her chosen deity. That means the master is very, the person is very master in the 5 topics. Even though he or she received the teaching from Buddha all the way to his master, or also him, but in order to compose the text, the person must have a kind of vision. Many kind of vision can be directly vision in the dream. By whom? Chosen deity. Is not talking deity about the Dharma protector. Is talking about particular idam. For example, Adisha is Arya Thare, Mother Thara is the one of the very important chosen deity of Adisha. So before Adisha go to Indonesia, so he have lot of vision from Mother Thara. She asked him to go to Indonesia to receive the teaching. That means they must have this kind of vision to compose the text. That means now you can see how Adisha composed the text. He was very master in the 5 topics. He received all the teaching in unbroken lineage from Buddha Shakyamuni all the way to him. Also, he has a lot of vision about composing text. That means the root text or Lamrim is composed by Adisha based on the 3 qualification. Now, another important, number 2, with the regard to the lineages of gurus. There are 2 lineages, that of the Vegal common, uncommon. Or maybe we can call Hinayana Vegal and Mahayana Vegal. We have only 2 lineages in Buddhism. We have only 2 traditions. What are they? Hinayana or Mahayana? Or you can call, you can also the Nasvi. Now many people don't like to use the Mahayana and Hinayana. Also they use, Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition. Pali and Sanskrit. Why? Because at the Buddha lifetime, there were 2 languages were very important. Pali and Sanskrit. Sanskrit or Sanskrit. The Pali language is the common language, can use, as a, common people. Everybody can use this Pali. It's very common language. The Sanskrit is the official language. It's very official language. It's a very, advanced language. When Buddha give, at the moment when Buddha give a teaching, he used only the Pali, language. The language is not enough to explain all the, teaching. That's why second, he give teaching based on the Sanskrit, not the Pali. That means Pali is common language. When Buddha give a teaching, he give teaching to common people. This teaching translate into Sri Lanka, then Thailand, Burma, so we call, Pali tradition based on Pali language. Second is the Sanskrit. The Sanskrit language, its official language, is very, I think, it's very, complex language. So one word has many different meanings. We have two traditions, common, also uncommon, or Hinayana or Mahayana, or Pali or Sanskrit, right? Common. Hinayana and Mahayana. Within the latter, within the Mahayana, right? Within the Mahayana, there are again two. Those of the perfection vehicle and mantra vehicle. You can call, perfection vehicle, mantra vehicle, or Vajrayana vehicle. Perfection. Or you can call, Sudra Mahayan, Vajra Mahayan. There's two lineages. Within the perfection vehicle, there are two more divisions. Lineage of the view and the lineage of the deeds. Right? So we have within the Mahayana, there's two lineages. What are they? Yeah, Tantrayana lineage, mantra lineage, mantra, right? Yeah. Yeah, perfection vehicle and mantra vehicle. Perfection, do you remember what is perfection? Prajnana Paramita. For example, Heart Sutra is the perfection lineage. And the Vajrayana teaching also the mantra vehicle. You should not have a confusion, okay? For example, Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta we call Bodhicitta is vehicle. Bodhicitta is a bhumi. Bodhicitta is we call land. Bodhicitta we call path. Bodhicitta is we call path. Because after you practice Bodhicitta, you can reach to the enlightenment. That's why path or vehicle. Right? When you use the vehicle, you can reach to your destination, long destination. If you just walk, you cannot reach to your long destination, the vehicle. Then bhumi. Bodhicitta is bhumi. It doesn't mean Bodhicitta is kind of the soil and rock and stone. Still we call bhumi. Bodhicitta is bhumi. Do you know in Sanskrit what does mean bhumi? Just ground and land, right? That means similar because on the land, what we can grow? We can grow fruits, we can grow trees, we can grow everything, we can grow based on ground. When you practice Bodhicitta, it can develop a lot of good qualities. That means Bodhicitta look like bhumi. Bodhicitta look like ground. Bodhicitta look like vehicle. Bodhicitta look like path. That's why you call vehicle. So within the perfection vehicle, there are two lineages. What are they?
Lineage view and lineage of
Yeah, lineage view, lineage, and lineage of deeds. Lineage of view, lineage of deeds. Do you know what does mean? Do you know what does mean? Lineage of view, lineage of deeds. Huh? Yeah, what does mean perform and was again? Okay, view, right? So now we should have we have short time. Within the Heart Sutra has two meaning. Two types of meaning. One is called view or performed, emptiness. Second is all the practices. Okay? That means emptiness we call view. Emptiness we call profound. Rest of the meaning, impermanence, bodhicitta, great compassion, taking all of what we call the deeds, the lineage. That means we have two lineage. Then the performed lineage, mainly, instructed by Manjushri to Nagarjuna, through Nagarjuna all the way to Adisha. The deeds extensive lineage introduced, instructed by Maitreya Buddha, Asanga, all the way to Adisha. Adisha compound, two lineages together. But you should not think, when Buddha gave a teaching, he gave two lineages differently. No, he gave just Pranjanam Paramita teaching. It contains two types of meaning. One is very profound, one is very vast. Vast means many types of many varieties. Profound means same meaning, so difficult to understand. That we call profound, right? Profound and vast or deeds. Within the lineage of the deeds, there are lineage of the descendant from Maitreya, Majugoka, making three. That means one lineage come from Maitreya Buddha, all the way to Asanga, then all the way to Adisha. Actually, Maitreya, composed very important 5 treatises. Nagarjuna, he composed many treatises, many texts. Within the many texts, 5 or 6 texts are very important. So, with this kind of lineage. Okay, now again as a homework, or everybody, read very precisely, very slowly, try to understand the biography of Adisha, how many teachers he had. He had so many teachers who are most important. Then next, he had so many disciples who are the most important. Then again, 3 qualities, qualification of an author of text. Then all the lineages. We have first 2 lineages, within the 2 divided into 2 again into 3. Next, we will start the greatness of the teaching. So, anyway, when you study Lamrim, sometimes very difficult to understand. Sometimes you feel not important. Sometimes you feel, it is important, but I cannot practice. Okay, you can have so many kind of obstacles while you study or practice Lamrim. Everybody, please, don't give up, never be discouraged to study, practice Lamrim. Because, look at most of us, except there's a small boy, otherwise, most of us over 40, right? Who was the below 40? Below 40. You are below 40. How old are you? 30? Okay. Look at, I don't like that using the word, how old are you? No young, okay. How new are you? In our tradition, how we use? What is your age? Right? Chinese, how do you ask? Nichi Sola. Nichi Sola, right? We never ask how old, how are new. It is no good. Even though, most of us, except, most of us over 40 or 50s, we don't know how many years we have to go. Let's say we wish to, I think everybody wish to stay, no forever, I don't think. As a 90s. Somebody wish to stay 90, plus 90. Now, we don't have a really experience of loneliness, right? We are very busy with our friends and family, work, very busy. After 70s, then we're going to feel really the feeling of loneliness. Because we are too old, if you are, say, fortunate or unfortunate, if you have a children, I don't think children really will care you. They come to sometimes they come to see you on the New Year, say Happy New Year. Come for celebrate your birthday, give very small cake, happy birthday. Then they disappear. Or you thought, oh, he or she must be my best friend. At that moment, your best friend also become very old. They cannot come to see you every day. You cannot go to see him here or come. That's most time we have to live alone. That means you will know what does mean loneliness. Even though so difficult to pass one day, right? So difficult. This, if you study Lamrim, if you have the knowledge of Lamrim, you will be very happy. You never have a loneliness feeling. You never have a kind of disappointment. You always be busy with study Lamrim, practice Lamrim, meditation on Lamrim. You always be happy with Lamrim. The Lamrim will become your best friend in the future. I don't think your children will become your best, company. I don't think your best friend become your best friend. Definitely, if you study Lamrim, if you have a knowledge about Lamrim, Lamrim will become your best friend. Best friend. That's why, please, everybody, try to study, try to understand, and try to practice. Then you will have a best friend. Lamrim will be your best friend. Lamrim always be best friend because Lamrim never deceive you. Your friend can be deceive you, your children can be deceive you, right? Your wife can be deceive you, your husband deceive you. Lamrim never. So everybody try to be friend with the Lamrim. So thank you so much. Oh, why not we have just few question. If you have a question, if you have a doubt. No question? Okay.
In the book, it says mantra Vishnu have 5 systems. But
5 lineage.
5 system of lineage. They only put lineage of tenets, lineage of blessing, and lineage of various instructions. So, what is the other 2? There's only 3.
Actually, there's a 5, classical Tantrayana, right? So Vajrayana is not just we can say just one teachings. We have a action yoga, action tantra, perform tantra, yoga tantra, higher yoga tantras. Okay, we have a 4 classical Tantrayana teaching. Okay, that's why this is 1 4. The next one is the, another dimension, few things, right? Lineage.
Because there are 3 there, they say.
No, the first is the 5, right?
Yeah, 5. Then they mention lineage of tenets.
Oh, this is a different one. As well as lineage of the tenets, lineage of the blessing, lineage of the
Various instructions.
instruction. It is not including the 5. It's separate. Yeah, it's separate. It's separate. So also, related to the lineages, 5 of lineage in the Tantrayana. So most of you, receive teaching from the Chinese master. In the ancient time in Chinese, there are 4 philosophical schools. In China, they practice study mainly the 3rd school, which is mainly third school, which is the Chitta Mantra schools. Not much about, the Madhyamaka, particularly about the Pasangika. Based on the Vajrayana, there are, 4 classical Vajrayana lineage or teaching. In China, mostly performed and action tantra, not much about the higher tantra yoga. That's why you can see, there's the lineage instruction is a bit different here and there. Okay, so we can do the dedication prayers. We just do the Lamrim. It's okay. So please, everybody, must know how to dedicate the merit. There's 2 different, you can focus on 2 M's. One is the temporal happiness. One is the lasting, ultimate happiness. You just think, today, I accumulate a lot of merit based on, your motivation, based on listening, Dharma, based on discussing about Dharma. So that merit I'm going to accumulate to happy all sentient being and temporarily be happy for ultimately. Just think this way.